WWE loves Roman Reigns. Even mentioning this can send people into a frenzy as they reach for their keyboards to frantically type out why the bloodline is the best thing in wrestling. But not so long ago, people would have been typing about how Vince McMahon and his friends were out of their minds for trying to push him so much, as Roman would never truly be over with the fans. However, the WWE believed and finally got it right. Now, Roman has become a franchise player for them and has the longest title run in modern WWE history. That's not always the case for those who have been bestowed the honor of being a world champion, however. In fact, sometimes the wrestler placed on top gets treated worse than dog poop found on the bottom of Vince's shoe. With that said, this is a list of 10 world champions that WWE never believed in. Number 10. Kane. Despite his imposing size and unforgettable debut in 1997, the Big Red Machine has only captured WWE's main prize twice, a meager accomplishment compared to other wrestlers. This is usually enough for several reigns, but Kane's first victory came in 1998 under questionable circumstances against Stone Cold Steve Austin at the King of the Ring event. The second win didn't occur until 2010 when he won and cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase on the same night. Kane did manage to win the ECW Championship once, but that's equivalent to winning a child's spelling bee at the age of 46. Despite his longevity in the industry, management seemingly didn't believe Kane had what it takes to be a long-term champion. Number 9. Dolph Ziggler. Have you ever wondered why Dolph Ziggler could never become a top-end world champion? Well, his name alone could be a hindrance to his success. I mean, let's face it, having a name like Dolph Ziggler is not exactly an advantage in the wrestling world. It's like calling him Steve Poppin. However, despite this disadvantage, he managed to win the championship twice, mainly due to his hard work and immense fan support. His second title win was a remarkable display of evasion skills. Unfortunately, he never got the chance to establish himself as the top dog. His first reign started and ended on the same night, which sent a message to the audience that if the management didn't take him seriously, why should they? Number 8. Eddie Guerrero. The victory of Guerrero over Brock Lesnar to clinch the WWE Championship at No Way Out 2004 remains one of the most poignant moments in wrestling history, embodying the reward for unrelenting hard work. His ascent to the top was a shared and celebrated feat, and his brief reign was remarkable. Regrettably, despite widespread faith in his abilities, Eddie lacked self-assurance. As per Chavo Guerrero account on Chris Jericho's podcast, Eddie constantly fretted about the impact of his triumphs on the industry and doubted his suitability for the position. As a result, his reign was curtailed prematurely by a few months, and just as he was on the verge of securing another championship, Eddie's sudden and tragic passing left a lasting heartbreak that still lingers all these years later. Number 7. Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is proof that if you believe enough dreams do come true. Well, another wrestler walks out the company and someone else returning gets unexpectedly booed out the building, but all that aside, have faith in yourself and you will go far. This is the Daniel Bryan story, a man scheduled to fight Sheamus at WrestleMania 30 before the fans and numerous twists of fate steered him to the main event. As much as WWE would like to say otherwise, this was never the plan. Orton vs. Big Dave was meant to close the show. Bryan just fell into place after he couldn't be ignored anymore, and let's be honest here, if he hadn't have gotten injured, it seems likely he would have been on the end of Brock Lesnar's beating at that year's SummerSlam. Look at his other title runs too. At Money in the Bank 2011, he was the only option after Mark Henry got injured, and then Sheamus mutilated him for said championship in 18 seconds at Mania 28. Number 6. Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's popularity seems to be unwavering, regardless of his actions. Even his controversial match with Sting in TNA, where he was clearly not in the best shape to perform, hasn't affected his loyal fanbase. In fact, his popularity is seemingly impervious to criticism, like Kevlar. One could argue that his peak was in 2008, where he finally claimed the top prize at Armageddon. However, despite winning the championship twice more before leaving WWE in 2009, these reigns were short-lived due to concerns about his drug use. Nonetheless, the company continued to support him throughout, cementing his status as an enigma. Number 5. Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho underwent a transformation after 2007 that set him apart from his previous persona. Upon his return to WWE, he executed one of the most memorable heel runs in recent history, proving himself to be a deserving champion. However, His initial debut in 1999 was not as successful, as he faded into obscurity after being demolished by The Rock on Raw. It was during his tenure as the undisputed champion that WWE's opinion of Y2J became apparent. Despite defeating Stone Cold and The Rock in one night, he was regularly portrayed as foolish and dependent on interference for victories. This treatment culminated in his main event appearance at WrestleMania 18, where he followed Hulk Hogan and The Rock and was relegated to a lower status in the company. Such a scenario is unlikely to occur for Roman Reigns. Number 4. CM Punk. It has been noted that CM Punk didn't have many supporters rooting for him to succeed. In fact, the only person who seemed to have his back was Paul Heyman, which is ironic. Like Daniel Bryan, Punk's ascension to the top of the roster was due to fortunate circumstances. One of these circumstances arose in 2008 when he won Money in the Bank, which wasn't originally intended for him. Jeff Hardy was supposed to win but was disqualified due to a wellness violation. However, Punk was treated as a mid-card champion despite holding the World Heavyweight Championship. Other wrestlers like Jericho, Batista, John Cena, and Shawn Michaels were viewed as the true stars of the company. It wasn't until Punk threatened to leave that he was finally given the recognition he deserved. It's interesting to see how it all played out, isn't it? Number 3. Christian. Can you recall Christian's reign as world champion? If not, it's understandable considering the circumstances. He never won a title by pinning his opponent. His first win was in a ladder match, and his second came after Randy Orton hit him below the belt. These victories are a clear indication of how WWE perceived him as a top performer. It's unfortunate since Christian had a significant following, particularly in the mid-2000s. However, by the time he won the championship in 2011, it was a poorly executed reign. As if that weren't enough, Vince McMahon reportedly disliked Christian's face so much that he once suggested putting a blue dot over it every time he appeared on TV. Yes, really. Number 2. Jack Swagger. Once upon a time, Jack Swagger had potential. His unique physique and winning streak in ECW made him seem like a future star. This potential was further solidified when he won the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 26 and cashed in to become World Heavyweight Champion the following week. Unfortunately, it was all downhill from there as he lost to just about everyone, including Big Show, Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, John Morrison, and possibly even the narrator of this story. He eventually lost the title to Rey Mysterio, and since then, his career has been in a downward spiral. Number 1. Rey Mysterio. When discussing underbooked champions, Rey Mysterio often comes up as a topic of conversation. Despite being the ultimate underdog, he struggled with one major issue: he never seemed to win. The essence of being an underdog is having little chance of winning, but finding a way to do so anyway. However, when you consistently lose, you're just a loser. Rey never received any true support from the higher-ups in the company. Even though he won the Royal Rumble in 2006 and the championship at WrestleMania 22, he was never truly presented as a champion. Unfortunately for Mysterio, he was always up against one of Vince McMahon's biggest pet peeves: his size. Know of any other misused WWE champions? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.